Good evening. Folks, good evening and welcome to Open Forum every Saturday at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. What an epic program we're going to have today. First of all, happy Independence Day to all the Indian listeners. August
74th.
15th,
August 15th, right, 74th. And to our Pakistani listeners.
Yeah, August 14th to all
August
our Pakistani
14th.
listeners.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be an epic program today. After many years, we're doing live on Facebook. But I want to say many years. Actually, 2 weeks ago, we did one.
Right.
But that was after many years we had done one.
Hey, you purposely did it because I was not here in the studio.
Yeah, we didn't want your face to be on Facebook. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. There's a lot of excitement as I posted today's program. We're going to have one and only Aparna from the Indian Matchmaking, one of those programs on Netflix that has really taken the whole world by the storm. In India, it's #1. I think in USA, it was between number 3 and 7, but we'll ask Aparna when she gets on this radio program in about 15 seconds or so. You know, Jagat, we've been wanting to get Aparna for a long time.
I know. We talked about it.
For 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, I said, Aparna, you need to come. She's like, I'm very busy with international, interviews, etc., etc. I said, wait a minute. What about the Houston interview? She said, you means us.
Right.
Whoa. We'll be the first one to interview her in Houston. And I'm really honored.
So I don't really blame her because what she has been going through and the interviews that she has been giving all over the world, you know. And so naturally, I mean, we are proud that she is here in the studio.
Absolutely.
And, no question about it. And we, love to have her few more times here also.
Yeah, if she has time. She doesn't have any time. This is an honor that you're here, Aparna. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you
Fantastic.
guys for having me.
You want to say hello to all our fans out there? Your fans, that is. Aparna. There you go. Folks, I have known Aparna for quite some time now, and it's just it's great. About 18 months ago, she just said, hey, you won't believe I have to go somewhere for a shoot. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You've joined some gun range or something? Where are you shooting out here, man? She says, no, not that kind of a shoot. I'm going for this, I'm going to be on reality show, TV show. I'm like, really? Who's doing that? Netflix. I'm like, Aparna, I have to see it to believe this. That was amazing that she was on this show. So, proud moments for Houstonians, Jagat. We are absolutely so proud that Aparna is a Houstonian, obviously, and then she's been on Netflix, and this her name is a household name right now.
Absolutely.
Everybody I talk to, every Desi I talk to, they're like, oh, yeah. What? You're going to get Aparna on your show? How the heck did you do that? I'm like, I'm not revealing all the secrets out here today.
I know. But as a matter of fact, this morning only, a couple of my friends called. He says, hey, guys, you are getting her? I said, yes, we are getting her.
And we have her.
And they're actually listening to us right now. As a matter of fact, about a week back, someone told me that, hey, did you see this, the matchmaking connection?
Right.
And I said, no, what is it? About a couple of weeks back.
Right.
And I said, what is it?
You said I'm too old, so I don't want to see
I said,
it. Is that what you said?
No, because
kidding.
I'm not much of a Netflix fan.
Yeah.
I seldom watch anything on Netflix, but once in a while, in the blue moon.
Yeah.
And so, all of a sudden he says, no, you need to watch this particular, this episode.
Right.
Or there are many episodes now, that I was not aware of it.
Exactly.
But then I really watched it, and the very first episode I saw...
You loved it.
I loved it. I just said, oh my God, she's from Houston. She's from Sugar Land. And then, I was kind of hooked onto it.
Right. They lied to you. She's not from Sugar Land, but she definitely is from Houston. That's for sure. Hey, welcome to Open Forum. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? We, again, like Jagat said, even I'm not a big Netflix fan. Yeah, I bought the stock. The stocks are doing great. That's about the extent of Netflix I had till your friend Sunena told me, hey, Dad, you got to watch. And you had told me 18 months ago this is going to happen. And I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen. It happened. And then I went on one midnight Friday evening, not thinking that, am I going to stay all night watching this? I got hooked onto that. As soon as the intro was done, and then I saw you on the screen, I'm like, that is Aparna, right there. I know her so well.
Right.
And man, you were so amazing that I just couldn't. I saw about 4 episodes back to back to back, and I had so much work to do the next day. I'm like, the heck with the work. This is more important. So again, thank you so much for coming to Open Forum. You were born in London.
Yes.
And then you moved to Dubai.
Yes.
And then, of course, And we have another Londoner out here, Natasha. She's right
here.
there.
Come on.
She is. So, Natasha. Man, come on, Natasha, sit with us out here.
Right.
And then you moved to Dubai and then came to Houston and pretty much settled down in Houston. Tell us about your childhood in Houston, your schooling, your college, and then, of course, your post-grad, etc. Tell us about your childhood and teenage years. How were you?
Yeah, I've lived in Bel Air basically since I was 7 or 8 years old. I went to local public schools there. I went to Bel Air High School, and then I stayed in Houston for Rice University. And I went there for 4 years. And then I went away for a few years to Vanderbilt for law school. And then my family said, what do you want to do next? And I said, go back home to Houston. And so I have come back home, and I've been here for about 10 years since I finished law school.
But when you said that when you were 7 years old, you decided that you're going to be an attorney. But then in the same breath, you said, but I also wanted to be a hairdresser.
Yes.
Tell me that, I mean, this is left and that is right. Where were you there? I mean, what were you thinking at age 7?
Apparently, I liked to do French braids back then, and I also heard being a lawyer would be fun.
Right.
And so I think that's a 7-year-old decision. You know,
Right.
Which one will you be?
And there are a lot of
Did you ever do French braid?
there are a lot of lawyers with braids also. So hey, you know, you got
I can make it both work.
You can make it both work. Yeah. So how was law school? Let me ask you that question.
It was great. It was a very small Southern private school. It was a happy place to be. I made great friends there.
Right.
It was a good experience.
Right. In school or in college, did you ever get onto the stage to do some plays or, sing or do anything like that? Did you ever do that? Were you ever on the stage?
Yes, I did one play once. I think maybe 30 people saw it.
Yeah.
It was a very small play.
30 people, 29 because mom was also there, right?
Oh, no, I don't think
She
I told
did
her
come
about
out
it.
there.
I don't think I even told her I was
Looks
doing
like
it.
she doesn't talk anything about
that.
her activities to mom.
And then you said that you don't like attorneys.
No.
Or maybe you don't like to date attorneys.
Yes.
Is that what you meant, actually?
I tend to not date attorneys.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. And
that's-
we come into that. Jagat,
That's how she very clearly she mentions that in one of the interviews,
Right.
that she doesn't like to date attorneys.
right,
You know.
but she's an attorney. right
But
there.
she's an attorney, and that is just like the doctors do not like doctors.
Who said that?
Well, some of my
A lot of my doctor friends are married to doctors and they're so
yeah, they
happy,
are
man.
married to marry, right? But
Maybe that's something else to talk about. But again, going back to your college days, etc., did you ever at that moment think that you're going to be one of these big stars all over the world?
No. And I definitely don't think I am one today.
Well, you
either.
don't think so, but even my staff, none of them are Indian folks. Okay, they've been watching you, and they're like, "Yeah, you're going to interview Aparna? How did you know her?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm not telling you all the secrets." So you are a star. I don't think you know you're a star.
right.
You are a star. People talk about you. I'll tell you, not everyone's happy about the way they've seen you on the screen, and we'll
Right.
talk about that in a little while.
Sure.
But you are a star.
Right.
In India, you're a star, and here you're a star. Let's
well,
get down.
she has become a talk of the town.
She is. So let's get down to the show itself. Okay, it's called the Indian Matchmaking. It's on Netflix, and I think there were about 9 episodes. It's already, the season 1 is over, I think, right? How did you get chosen? Is there a story behind that?
So I was in the LA airport coming back home to Houston after a weekend away, and there was a Facebook post that I was scrolling through, and,
Right.
and I happened upon it, and it said, "Are you South Asian? Are you single? Are you looking to get married?"
Right.
I said, "Yeah, all of the above," and it said, "Then apply here."
Oh
So
my.
right there in the line for United,
Yeah.
I clicked on the application. I filled it out. I didn't think too much about it. It said attach a few photos, so I went to my phone and I attached a couple of photos, and I sent it in. A week later, they called and they said, "We got your application." And I had forgotten I had applied to anything. And I was like, "What do you mean? What application? Did I want a new car? What was I thinking?" And they're like, "You applied to be on a show." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did." And that's what's starting my casting process.
Wow.
Wow.
That is so Aparna.
That's
That
so
is
me.
so Aparna.
That is
You're
so
standing
me.
in the line,
Didn't think about it.
didn't think about anything. Let me just do this and
I
get
had
this
5
also.
minutes. I had 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let me just do this and get this. Take this also off, and then suddenly you get a call.
I get a call.
And you get a
week.
call.
1
And
week
was
later.
there like an audition, or you're like, "That's Aparna, let's get her in"? what happened?
There was a lot of
Was
Skype
that call
calls.
from Seema?
No, I never met Seema until that moment that everyone sees me meeting her. That is literally the first time.
First time.
Right.
I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was. I didn't know anything about her until she knocked on my door that day.
So there was no
Oh, she
audition.
came all the way to Houston.
She came all the way to Houston.
And she'd been traveling a lot, that girl.
She has.
So no audition, they just met you and they said,
No, there was a lot of auditioning.
Yeah?
There was a lot of Skype calls with people in LA. They disappeared for a few months. I thought they'd pick someone else,
Yeah.
but it turns out they had just changed the direction of something. I don't know what was happening in
Okay.
the background. So for a few months, I thought I hadn't made it. Then they called me back and they said, no, you're still in the running. And so then you have to
Nice.
do a lot of background checks. You have to do a psych eval. You have to
Goodness.
do interviews with your mother and your sister and all of that. It's an extensive
it's
process.
a process.
It's a big
and
process.
they vetted a lot of people then, didn't they?
Hundreds, maybe thousands.
Hundreds
I don't
and
know.
thousands, yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, guys, we are live on Facebook. Darshak, are we on your account? How do people get on that? Because I've been getting calls. How do we see her on Facebook?
You can share what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, people can follow you.
Yeah, I have to get on it and then share it. Okay, I'll get some time to do that also.
Who know me, they can.
Yeah, fantastic. Darshak Thacker, if you're on his friend, he's got like 1,500 friends. You can get on that, and then you can see us, and you can see Aparna live on Facebook. So Aparna, literally, you did not meet Simi Auntie, as I call her. I'll be honest, I was pretty annoyed with her in the beginning. I hope she's not watching or something like that. I hope not.
I think we were all
Actually, I
very
don't.
annoyed with her.
I don't actually care if she. I was kind of annoyed in the beginning, but then she grew on me. I started liking her. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, but it was like I watched her 3, 4, 5 times. I said, this lady knows what she's doing. She could be annoying, but she knows what she's doing. And Jagat and I were talking about that last week. We said, man, she had no computer. She had this big piece of paper
right,
that she was
like
flipping
an Excel
through.
spreadsheet,
And I'm
I
like,
mean,
that
unbelievable.
is so Simi Auntie.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, this one is already married. Why we have this name still here? She's trying to matchmake
Right.
someone who was already married
Yeah.
out there. Folks, you're
Actually, I'm not going any forward, but I think
Right.
some of the things that she talked about that I didn't quite agree with it, but we will get that into the later part of it.
Right.
But, just let's continue this discussion.
Friends, you're listening to Open Forum. Our number here is 1-800-444-1061. I know you want to talk to Aparna, but give me about 20 minutes, and then we will start taking your calls, and then we'll have a lot of fun. So, Aparna, like I said, half the viewers thought that you were very arrogant on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You had your own way of dismissing people, and which you did. By the dozens, just I don't want this one. I don't care if he doesn't like me. I like me. I like that sentence though. I don't care if he doesn't like me, but I like me. Is that how you perceive yourself? You're like, I like me. I don't care.
I hope that a lot of people perceive themselves like that. Dating, you're not looking for everybody to like you. You're looking for one person to like you.
Okay.
So if people reject you, it shouldn't really hurt your feelings too much because they're just looking for the one too, right? We have to believe that they're not bad people
Right.
just because they don't want to be with us. They just have their own preferences.
Right.
And so I say, it's okay if someone doesn't want to be with me. We all have to think that rationally about it and move on.
Right.
So if at the end of the day you can say, hey, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm evolving, I like me at the end of the day because I'm doing all that hard
Right.
work for myself and I'm
Right.
growing and changing, then that's all that matters. So
But
I
then-
like me,
But
yes.
then, Aparna, wouldn't that be a little impediment, though, for selecting someone? Because people would get the impression that, hey, she is a woman that she really doesn't like anybody.
I never said I didn't like anybody.
No, you didn't say that. But people that who would be watching or who are part of the group, they probably might think that, oh, she doesn't like anybody. Why should I even meet her?
I think a big lesson from this is that you shouldn't care what other people think so much. It's really not important. That's a bigger lesson to everyone out there. You really have to stay true to yourself and you have to believe in your self-worth and you have to ask for the things that you want in your life and you have to really feel that you deserve them. And I think a lot of women all over the world have been reaching out to me and saying thank you. Thank you for being unapologetically yourself. Thank you for saying what you want and thank you for not listening to somebody saying you have to compromise or settle because that's your life partner and that's important.
But you also said in the same breath, maybe, but finding a life partner is like ordering from a menu. What did you?
Seema said that.
Seema said that.
Yes.
Right.
How did you feel when she said that?
I don't believe a lot of the things that Seema says. She's very traditional.
I agree.
She's not a good fit for me as a matchmaker.
Right.
Okay.
And that's a big thing that also a lot of people have to think about. When you
Right.
start a relationship with a matchmaker, you are starting a relationship just like someone you are dating. Seema and I had a terrible first date. We did not understand each other.
Right.
I kept trying to tell her, and I don't think the viewer sees this a lot, but I kept trying to tell her, I want someone more shy, someone more laid back, someone more introverted. And she said, no.
Right.
And I said, no, I want that. And she was like, no, you need someone jolly. I don't even
Right.
know what jolly means. That's not a word we use in America. I mean,
Right,
for Santa
exactly.
Claus,
Right.
Santa Claus is jolly.
Right.
But people are not jolly.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, no. And then I'm looking at her thinking, she's not understanding me. And I'm like, no, not the funniest guy in the room,
Right.
which
Right.
is what they edited. And they showed that.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the statements that she made on the show, that you have to pick someone from the menu. That's really turned me off.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are a few other things about her, what she talking about in the later interviews, and it's kind of said, where is this Indian lady going? I mean, it's a totally different world out there. And some of the
Right.
things that he was talking about, the old-fashioned way,
Yeah.
which didn't quite jive here, particularly in the Western world, or for that matter, even in India to some extent,
Well, Seema is a matchmaker for a Marwari upper class community in
Right,
Bombay.
right.
That is her niche.
Right.
We are not that niche.
Right.
Nadia is not, I am not, Vyasar is not, even Ankita up in Delhi is not. So she is a very niche matchmaker, and she's very good at what she does for that community.
Right.
And for those people, and
Yeah.
for the people that think like her. In the show, you see that most of us do not think like her, and that we have that little bit of friction with her thoughts.
Yeah.
But she's, good at what she does, where she does it. I don't know if that means that it applies worldwide.
That's true. So let's go to that first guy that you met, the guy from California. He was like, he didn't know what the heck he was doing in his life. He, like, till about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's like, oh, now I know what I might be doing. I give some speeches, motivational speeches and stuff like that. And then y'all went out, right? Y'all went out. I love that scene where y'all were axing.
Yes, we were.
I
asked
love
during-
that. Folks, if you haven't seen that,
Yeah.
you got to see how bad she was.
Yes, the worst.
But
I
the
mean,
last one she
worst.
got it, though. The last one she got it.
I got it on the bullseye.
You
Yeah,
did.
yes,
Jeff
right on
get
the
it.
bullseye.
So just
right
to,
on the bullseye.
So just to put the scene together for people who've never seen, so you get an axe, you go to this bar out here. First
Yeah.
of all, axe and wine doesn't match. I don't
No.
think they should mix together.
Right.
But anyway, so but the thing is far away. So you're throwing that axe and you're supposed to get in the bullseye. And boy, how many times did you actually attempt? They showed only 5. Did you do more than that? 25, 30 times?
Probably 15. Yeah.
15 times.
Yeah.
And then you were about to give up. And you said, no, let me give you one more shot. And boom, you gave it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? That was very metaphoric for me.
Yes, it was.
It was very, very metaphoric. But I said, that is the Aparna I know. She's not. I kept thinking, please get it. I'm thinking in my Indian accent now, right? Oh, you ought to get it. Because if you don't get it, that camera is not going to stop rolling. And then when you got it, I'm like, that's good now. Now I think we can move on. But what you did then after that was you rejected that guy's dinner proposal. He said, let's go eat. And you said, we're done out here.
In real life,
What
we went out till 3 o'clock in the morning.
You did.
I took him
But
out to
okay.
dinner. I took him out to dinner. I even paid for it.
That
I took
is
him out till 3
awesome.
o'clock in the morning. You know what happened there, which was sadly not shown to the viewer? I had a lot of issues with him off camera when I did take him out to dinner.
Right.
He was very disrespectful. He was very hurtful. He said some things that are completely inappropriate.
Okay.
And I told Seema the next day,
Yeah.
and I told the producers, and I told my mother. I
Yeah.
said, I was crying last night. He made me feel really bad about myself.
Hmm.
And they said, oh, okay, well then tell Seema about it on the camera. And so I told Seema everything, and they cut it all
Yeah,
out.
they cut it out.
Yeah, they cut it out.
They
Right.
said that I didn't like him because he had a podcast. And I was like, no, I didn't like him because he was disrespectful, demeaning, and hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And my mother, as she should have been, was very upset by
Upset,
that.
yeah.
And I said, I will talk to you never. And I want women to hear this. If a man disrespects you and demeans you and makes you feel in any way little or small,
Very good.
speak
Good.
to him never.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
important. Do not go back
Can
to
we
him.
take a look at your shirt out there?
Yeah.
Can you
It says-
focus on that shirt out there? It says, I will talk to you never.
And that's an important lesson.
yeah,
it really
and,
is.
And again, it's kind of silly to even bring this up, but that is women power. I mean,
It
you've
is.
got
Right.
to stand up to what you believe and don't let anyone put you down. And
Yeah.
and that's off camera, of course. No one saw that,
Right.
but I'm glad you're sharing it first time, maybe, I don't know, maybe you've shared it with
No, I've
the
shared it
other
with
audiences.
multiple media outlets because
Right.
a lot of people had a problem with that. And
Yeah.
I think it's unfair for the viewer to not see the full story because I think what they were trying to do was create these archetypes of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted me to be so strong that I could never be hurt by someone. But
Right.
I think that's an important thing to show.
Right.
That this person was so disrespectful for me that I was so hurt. That, even successful women, even smart women,
Right.
even women who have self-worth can be vulnerable in that process and they
Right.
can get really badly hurt and mistreated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the women that reach out to me when they find that out, because I have said it in the press sometimes, they're like, wow, that changes the whole situation. And I wish we could have seen that part of your journey because that is an important part of every journey. That
Right.
sometimes we meet people that are bad to us.
Right.
That they're just bad to us.
But they cut it
Right.
off because they didn't want to depict that.
And then let's talk about
Part of
reality
it,
TV.
yeah.
What did they cut off for all of us? I think that's the bigger conversation. Why
Right.
do we consume media that we think is honest or true? It's not honest or true. It's not reality. It's a masala edited version of sound bites that
Right.
make you
Right.
as a viewer feel something. And I think it's important for the viewer to feel something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it today.
Yeah.
And there's so many
Correct.
topics in that show that need to be talked about. So they made the show where, Nadia is the girl that got walked over, and I'm the strong one, and Ankita is the career woman,
Right.
and Vyasar's they did it on purpose. But we have to be more educated as viewers and think that's not true. That's a television
So about
show.
after watching some of the shows, what you were talking about it, I mean, now that you are talking about it, that many of the things were cut out from it.
Completely.
From her talking into the camera, I felt that there was no chemistry between Seema and you. That's the feeling I got.
But that's what they wanted you to feel.
Right. But
Everything that you feel is because they wanted you to feel that. Always remember that about television,
Right.
that they are very crafty and that is their job and they are doing that on purpose and that's okay. I think that there's a reason that television is made so beautifully nowadays.
Right.
It's because there's very smart people behind it creating these shows
Right.
so that you feel a certain way. But it is not true. So always remember that. Reality TV.
no one's going to take me
Right.
on reality TV. I'm going to forget that anyway.
Right.
I mean, first of all, I didn't sign up for reality TV.
No, I know.
I signed up for a docu-series. They
Yes.
told me this is a documentary about matchmaking in India and America. It's going to be a classy thing that shows the best parts of our culture.
I remember you saying that to me. Yeah, you did
I
tell
was
me
so-
that. Yes.
The woman who created the show, Smriti Mundra, did this beautiful documentary called A Suitable Girl.
Right.
It's on Amazon Prime still today.
Right.
And it was so thoughtful and it was so beautifully made. It won all these awards in Tribeca. And because she made that, I
Right.
thought, oh, this is going
This
to
should
be
be,
a continuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I
No.
saw it 4 weeks ago, I was shocked. And all my castmates were shocked. We were all in the dark. We thought that we had all signed up for something completely different.
Right, right. Hey, folks, you're listening to Open Forum. We are here every Saturday on 106.1 FM. You can also, tune into humfmradio.com. We have Miss Aparna. I'm going to try the last name, okay? It's Shewakramani?
Shewakramani.
Shewakramani. Aparna Shewakramani of the Netflix program called the Indian Matchmaking. It is a fantastic program. I mean, if you have time or you make time, once you start it, you want to finish the whole 8 series show out there. It was fantastic. Let's go to another aspect of you, which I did not know, that I couldn't believe that you would actually fall for that trap. The astrologer?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
The
the other one,
astrologer.
right?
I
Dilip
love him.
Bhai.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that you liked him.
I loved him.
You called him Dilip Uncle. I said,
Dilip Uncle.
this girl likes Dilip
Yeah,
Uncle.
I mean-
but you know what was really slow about him? He was slow. And you told him, you're like, get on with it.
Well,
Move on.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
to the real point.
When Dilip was talking about it, particularly some of the things that astrology would tell him to talk about.
Right.
I was literally looking at her face at that time.
Yeah.
And she was literally stunned. She couldn't believe it. Correct me if I'm wrong. That how does he know all these things, about me?
Yeah.
That's
What
editing.
yeah, that is
That's
true.
editing. Again, let's
That
just
is
talk
true.
about what we just said. That's all editing.
That is true.
Okay.
I liked Dilip Uncle. So he is a aeronautical engineer at Boeing.
Wow.
He just retired in October. That was the first time I was meeting him, but he is very scientific about the way he speaks about astrology. His grandfather taught his father, who taught him. And he is very precise. He is an aeronautical engineer. I mean, he's a very smart man. So he talks a lot about angles and planets and all these things. And I was just confused because I thought I was here to hear some predictions and move on.
Right.
And he was there to tell me that my 23rd angle in my 7th house of Jupiter was moving. And I was what is happening right now? So I've had my birth chart read twice before in my life. He was my 3rd time. And the reason I agreed to it was I thought, well, let's see if they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's part of the process. It's a show. They're flying him here to my house from LA. It's not like I have to go anywhere. I'm in my dining room. Yeah. So I gave it a go. And sure enough, he said the same thing that everyone else had said. So all 3 of these people who have never met each other in over 10 years have done these chart readings have always said the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in it.
So
I still don't know if I believe in it.
So off the camera, what did they tell you? On the camera, it was kind of, June 19th and this. What did they tell you about you off the camera that you actually liked? Maybe? I don't know. If someone reads my palm and says something good, I'm like, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
Someone says, I'm like, you know what? Next. I'm not talking to you anymore. Did they say anything nice about you?
Of course.
Of course they did.
Philip Uncle said I was very successful. I would continue to always be successful in my career. He said now is the time for me to settle down and find someone and start my family.
Right.
Everyone who's ever read my birth chart has said I'm having twin boys.
Okay.
So this is the 3rd person that looked at my chart and said twin boys.
I heard that,
And I said, oh no, I don't know about that. I'm unsure. But, I take it with a grain of salt. If one day I have kids and it's one baby girl, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So I don't really take it as truth or anything like that.
But
I take it.
So this was the other point that I really did not like it.
What do
in
you?
the sense that in India, in 20th century, people go, in 21st century, people go and look into, they match their horoscope,
Yeah.
And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I never believed in it, and I don't think many of the people believe in it.
But most families still do that. I mean, unless you choose your own partner.
Are you serious about it?
I'm serious about it.
People
still do that.
Yeah.
They will look at
when
this
I got married, we never did that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very common. I think it's very common. And that's why they wanted to show it, because it is so common.
It's very common.
Yes.
And then fast forward to or maybe rewind to the other guy, the face reader.
What a weirdo. What a weirdo.
So I want to set this up for our listeners who've never seen this show.
Go for it.
So on this show, Seema Auntie, who's the matchmaking lady, she takes people's pictures, ones who she's matchmaking, and goes to this little tiny room. It's a weird room, by the way.
All right.
I was scared what's going to happen in
Me
that
too.
room.
I was like, is she going to be okay? Is she going to come out alive?
So he goes there. And then
in Bombay.
In a Seema way, she's like, ये इसका photo देखो तो, ये photo देखो इसको. And the guy is a face reader.
Right.
So he looks at the faces and then he tells whatever he tells. Now let me say what he said about you. Is that
Sure,
okay?
of course.
If I can, say it, yeah?
Say it.
And I'm going to say it in Hindi because he said it beautifully. Where's it called? Yeah. And he looks at your picture.
Okay.
Natasha, do you remember this one? Okay. So he looks, Darshak bhai, tame yaad chhe tumhare? He looks at the picture and he looks at Aparna's picture. Ye ziddi hatti hai. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
But wait, he said that about everyone.
He did.
He said that about
but
every single person.
They got yours. Ye ziddi hatti hai. Pati iska agyakari charandas rahega. Means your husband is going to always touch your feet and always obey you and never
Always
disobey
obey,
you.
right.
That's what he said. Or patni bhakt rahega. He will always adore you. He will pray, adore you.
Okay.
And then the last one really got me.
I know, me too. Keep going. Keep going.
Then he says, pati ko, means Aparna ne agar pati ko do lafa bhi mara, to fir bhi bardasht kar lega. He would even tolerate if Aparna slaps him twice.
That's so
This is what
wrong.
he said.
Yeah.
And I laughed and I rewound that and I'm like, wait a minute, did he just make it up? Or let me listen to that one more time. And he did say that.
That was triggering for a lot of people. A lot of men have even written to me and said, I can't believe that man said that because why are we laughing about any domestic violence?
Right.
Like, that's not funny. He's disrespectful. He should never speak like that. And I said, but listen to all the other things he said.
No.
This man is clearly unhinged. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He looked at everyone's photo and said the same thing. He's like, they're stubborn, they're stubborn, they're stubborn. Basically, the man thinks if we're all single, we're stubborn.
Right.
And so I was like, don't worry about him. But people are very triggered by him. And they feel very strongly about those lines that he said. And I feel bad that made anyone feel like that. Because I was like, I think he was saying it as a joke. I don't know. Like, I'm not him. But a lot of people were hurt and not happy with that man.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they put that segment in, though.
No.
Again, this was
weird,
one of those reality show type of a masala out there.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, did he really say that? Let me listen to it one more time.
Well, let me hear it
He
again.
actually did say it.
What is he thinking saying that?
And the worst was Seema kept saying, yeah. And she's like, thank you very much. And she walks out.
Right.
I'm like, wow, Seema,
Wow,
you put that on air out there. Folks, you're
But
listening to...
that really turned me off in a way, because I honestly felt that if this is what Seema does, then I don't think that probably she would have a lot of clients, though.
But I think, but you know what? Aparna said it correctly. Her clientele is such, they expect that of her. I think, is that true?
I don't think she does that in real life. I think
That's
for the
what I'm
show.
saying, yeah.
But I don't think she goes to the face reader in real life.
I bet she does.
I don't think
bet
so.
she
No,
does.
I
I bet she doesn't.
Okay, well, we'll have to call Seema and ask her one day
Yes, one
on
day.
this show. One
One
day.
day.
I will ask Seema auntie, kem cho tame? She's like, who the heck are you, dude? Speak Gujarati first, right?
Yeah.
Folks, you're listening to Open Forum. I know a lot of people actually called, and I told them not to call right now. Just wait for a few more minutes, and then we'll take the call. But you can put us on speed dial, 1-800-444-1061, 1-800-444-1061 is our number. We're talking to Aparna from Netflix, from Indian Matchmaking. It's such an honor that you actually made time to come here.
Of course.
Ours is the first show that you're actually doing in Houston. I know you've done a lot of international shows, and that means a lot to us, to 106.1 FM and humfmradio.com. So now let's go to the other guy, the guy you really liked. Tell us about that guy. Was it Shaker? Shaker. Now, just 2 episodes ago, you said, I don't like attorneys.
Yeah.
Shaker turns out to be an attorney.
I say I don't like to date attorneys.
Well, Shaker is dating you.
We went on 2 dates.
Well,
you didn't even see the second one.
I did not see.
There is 2 in real life.
Tell us about Shaker.
Shaker and I are best friends. I'm seeing him
Awesome.
in 2 weeks in Chicago.
Fantastic.
We talk every day.
That is so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, Shaker and I get along really well. We got along well. That's why we had 2 dates. We got along so well that we hung out for hours off the camera together.
Right.
I do that with all the men that came to Houston to visit me. I made sure to take them out off the camera.
Good deal.
One, to thank them
That's
for
Aparna
coming.
that I know.
Yeah, thank them for coming. I'm flying all the way to Houston. And then also to tell them, hey, the cameras make you nervous. Who are you really? Like, because it's not fair to say your
Correct.
first date's on a camera and I'm not going to give you a chance after that.
Right.
So Shaker and I spent many, many hours together, and we stayed really close friends. And now he's become one of my biggest cheerleaders, my biggest supporter, my biggest friend, as well as Dilip and Jay, my other 2 dates. I talk to them every day also. So I walked away from this experience with 3 men that didn't work out as a husband.
That's okay.
But 3 men that worked out as really good friends.
Right.
And they are very sweet, because they'll go out onto the internet and try to protect me from the people who think that the real version is that the reality show is real.
Right.
And I tell them not to do that. I'm like, don't worry about it. And they're like, but we feel protective over you. We're your friends, and we know who you are, and you took us out, and you talk to us every day. And I said, yeah, but that's, like I said to you before, like, always worry about your own self and your own life, and don't worry so much about what other people will think.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Jagat Bhai, you don't know Aparna as much as I do.
No, I agree.
Aparna is exactly what she just said. She's just a sweet lady. Let me tell you, when my wife, Natasha, you got to listen to this one, and my listeners out there. When my wife Sonal was sick, guess who used to come to our house very often? Miss Aparna. And she would come and just sit with Sonal and just talk to her as if there was nothing wrong with Sonal, because she just wanted her to feel that I want you to just feel normal.
Correct.
And then after half an hour of hanging around at the bedside, she'd come to my refrigerator and said, open the damn fridge. I'm like, well, what did I do? She said, Sonal said, get rid of that, the stuff that this guy always stores. Look, I'm not a hoarder.
No.
I don't hoard food.
But you
But I
are.
don't like to throw it either. So she comes and she starts, this is April 2016. What the heck is it doing here? I'm like, April 2016? That was my birthday. I got it that day. Leave it alone. And boom, she just throws it in the... So she cleaned out my whole refrigerator. That's the side of Aparna that they didn't show on
Right.
these shows.
Because
Right.
it's not
Sweet young
convenient,
lady,
though, right?
yeah.
It's not convenient. They had already picked their sweet girl.
Right.
That was
Right.
Nadia.
Right.
And they'd already picked their strong businesswoman. That was Ankita. They had picked me. And that's what these shows do. They create these archetypes to talk about arranged marriage.
They do.
I don't even think the show was about Aparna or Ankita or Shaker.
But it was Netflix. Their ratings have to go up, and you
Yeah.
made them go
Right.
up
Yeah.
tremendously.
I did.
Tremendously.
I did. They can send me a lifelong subscription.
I'm
if they
telling
like.
you, I think so. And the other thing people don't know about Aparna is one of those folks out there, one of those young ladies out there, who if you meet the first time, you think you've known her for like 10 years. She is
She's
so
so
warm
friendly, so
and
friendly.
so friendly
Right.
and so down to earth.
Oh, thank
and,
you.
And for her, black is black and white is white. There's no gray zone out there. There's no hanky-panky. You either
That's
is
it.
this or it's that. It's either I like you because I like me also, or I don't like you because you don't need to like yourself either. Folks are listening to
Yeah.
Open Forum. What a pleasure it is to
Absolutely.
have Aparna in our
Absolutely.
studio. I know a lot of people out there wish that they would be hanging around with you, Aparna, out
Oh,
here.
thank you.
But
Yeah,
we're going to open the
so
lines.
Absolutely,
Yeah?
you
Yeah.
need to open up the line. But with all these episodes, like you said, that it's a reality show basically, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the person that who really gets the most out of this
Mm-hmm.
is none other than Seema.
She did. I mean, she had a role to play, and
Right.
she played it the way she was supposed to play.
Right.
I think she's already pretty popular in, she has an ego, that's for sure.
Right.
She talked about, when I saw her at the airport, hello, I'm Seema Auntie. I'm like, dude, I think I should start
As if
saying
that everybody
hello,
knows
I'm
that,
Dr. Subodh Butcher, I have a practice here. I don't do that either,
No.
But that's her role, and she played it
Yeah.
pretty good. Now, one of the statements that you made, and I want you to elaborate on that, because I think this is a fantastic statement that you made, and I'm trying to get around my brain. What did you actually mean by that? You said, I don't have any time in my life to invest in people who are not on the same page as me.
Mm-hmm.
You're 34, you said, right?
yeah.
You said, I want to get married. So was there no compromise at all that you went on with when you went and met these guys? Forget these guys
I think
on
that was
air.
just about Srini. That statement was about Srini because
That statement,
obviously
okay.
he had come.
The first one, the first guy,
He
yeah.
had come and he had disrespected me and,
Okay.
and wasted my time and met my family and still
Right.
treated me so poorly.
Okay.
And I said, I don't have time for people like that.
Got it.
And I will talk to you never. That goes back to the same statement.
Right.
That if people aren't invested in the
And-
dating process and
Right.
getting to know you and wanting the same thing in their life, which is to find their partner.
Right.
And if they're not serious about that, and if they don't feel that they're going to put in the work for that, then I don't have time to invest in them. I'm not here to
Mm-hmm. Right.
dilly dally with
There you go.
with some man who thinks that he can talk to women a certain way
Right.
or disrespect them in a certain way and come into their homes and meet their parents and still
Yeah.
demean them like
Yeah.
that. That's not for me.
That's not for you.
That's not for
That's
me.
awesome.
And that's
Wow.
okay. It could be for someone.
No,
I don't think it
that's,
should be.
That's true. Again, they cut all that, so they
Yeah.
they just showed that one
Yeah.
thing. What is
Let
a
me
unique?
ask you this. Let me ask, what was your mother's input in all these things and your sister's input? Because they were constantly with you, many a times on television.
No, they weren't there that often. I mean, they met Srini. I think that was it. And then they interviewed them a few times. I mean, think about this. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, you have 8 episodes with 7 people in it for 25 to 40 minutes each. So there's like so many things that are cut. They weren't a big part of the process. They were just, people that they grabbed in. They grabbed my friends in. They grabbed the astrologer in. Like, the whole show was about fleshing out my character, and that's what they used my family for.
Was that Divya who was sitting with you?
Divya and Smith.
Divya and Smitha. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you not like beaches?
I don't.
You don't like beaches?
No.
You don't like comedy?
I don't like bad improv with the person I'm dating. So I'll pay for a good comedy show.
Right.
But I will not. I don't want to date a man who
You've
thinks
never
he's
come
funny.
to our Open Forum comedy show.
I haven't.
You've not.
I have to.
We've got to take you
I
there.
will buy my ticket and I will be there.
Wow.
We'll make you the chief guest. What the
Oh
heck?
no! Oh no!
Would you
Yeah,
like?
we will.
Would you like the comedy though?
I think she will. I think you'll like that comedy.
I like all good comedy.
Yeah, it's
but
good.
Seema kept being like, "You need to date the jolly man," and I kept being like, "No, no, no."
It's not Christmas yet.
I don't
yeah.
think
Yeah.
that word is used anymore.
It's not.
Well,
it's, not.
it's
It's
Seema.
Seema.
What did you mean by a unicorn on paper but not unicorn in real life?
Yeah,
Well, what is it that
Philip.
about men when they send you looked at the bio data as Seema
Yeah.
called it, and you're like, yeah, but then when you go back in real life, you're saying, what? Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, Dilip and I still laugh about that. Like I
Yeah.
said, I talk to him almost every day now. Dilip is what Seema thought would be so perfect for me. He's
Yeah.
Sindhi. He
Yeah.
went to these amazing schools. He has a great career. He's from New York. I love the Northeast, so I told her I'd be willing to move up there. And she was like, okay, here. You said you wanted all these things. Here you go. And then when Dilip and I met, we just didn't have chemistry like
Right.
that. Obviously, we're friends.
Nice guy, though.
So
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
nicest guy.
Yeah.
But and he laughs. He's like, at least I was a unicorn, right? And I was like, yes, Dilip. Yes,
You said it
Dilip.
so well.
I said
That
it.
really hit my brain. I'm like, wow, that's a statement, man.
But isn't that that's about relationships, right?
Yes.
Like we think we want all these things on paper, but when we meet the people, they're just there's no chemistry.
Right.
And there's that thing that you can't define. That's something that SEMA can't help you with.
Right.
You know?
Hey, folks, you're listening to Open Forum. In the studio, we have Aparna from one of the most famous shows on Netflix. It's still there. You can watch it. There are about 8 or 9 episodes. It's called The Indian Matchmaking. And Aparna is the hero that I have in that show. I mean, I just love the way she came out with her statements. I mean, Aparna, you were awesome. So let's go to our callers.
Awesome.
You got your headphone on?
I've got my
All right,
headphones
I'm going to
on.
open the lines now. I've done all my research and did some of the questions. I hope I was not too bad
No,
on
you were
that.
great,
And
of
I didn't
course.
want to offend you at all.
Never.
Please. So if some of the questions are crazy, that is just part of Netflix, not me. Let's go to Yogesh. Yogesh, how are you doing, sir?
Well, good afternoon, guys.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Aparna, for a refreshing view of the show and your insight of it. Actually, let me be honest with you. When I saw it the first time, it's just like you come out like, oh, she's gonna be rejecting. But as soon as when you when the auntie start talking to you and when you're responding to it, then I felt a lot of pride for you. So you are the one woman who's standing up and saying that this is what I believe. I'm not gonna settle for something, put it on my plate. This is what I want, and that's exactly how I look for it. I'm not gonna settle for second thing at all. And that's the character I really like it about you.
Thank
in
you.
the show. And you come out so refreshing afterwards, and I know that in certain things like about those astrologers and the face readers, those are the things they have to do for get the different kind of audience in the show, because that's very prevalent back home in India for sure.
Yes.
People may not believe here, but back in India they do believe all those stuff. So,
Well, that Yogesh, I still don't believe it. I still don't believe it. But anyway, I think it's pretty common in India. Even the educated
No,
people
it is
go
common.
for it. Even the educated people go for it, And, well, anyway,
the horoscope has always been there. So.
right.
All right, thank you. We're going to go to our...
So we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're going to go to our next caller. Hey, Yogi, sorry about taking some time off from you, but we got lots of people here. Let's take the second caller. You're live on Open Forum. Please go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
You're live on Open Forum. Please go ahead.
Let's go to the next one if we have.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please speak.
The Ramani does she know Keval Ramani?
What did you say?
What?
There is one Keval Ramani in Houston.
Keval Ramani. No.
Yeah. So how does that connect with
There is
this
one
show?
Keval Ramani in Houston. Are they related to each other?
Okay. Well, do you have lots of
no.
relatives in Houston?
No.
No.
She has no relatives in Houston except her mom and her
My uncle.
sister
And my
and your uncle,
Yeah.
your famous uncle.
Yes.
She is Dr. Ramchandani's niece,
Oh,
the
okay.
famous heart surgeon
Okay.
at Methodist Hospital, and my
Right.
buddy. So, folks, if you want to call in here, it's 1-800-444-1061. I want to say thank you to our sponsors here today, Memorial Hermann Hospital, Kindred Hospital, Arling's Chinese Restaurant, Udupi Cafe, Madras Pavilion, that's known as India Summers,
India Summer.
Dr. Vinod Butcher, Mr. Josh Resta, Lalit Jalan from Mass Mutual, and thousands of others
Right.
who I can't even imagine what's going on. Did you ever, before I take this next caller here, did you ever watch the entire show yourself, all the episodes?
I did. I
Once or twice?
I watched only my parts at
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning when
2
it
in the
came out.
morning, yeah.
So Shaker and I were on the phone together at 1:59,
Yeah,
and then
that's
he said,
awesome.
"It's come,"
Yeah.
and we both hung up and we watched our parts
Yeah.
because I had press starting the next morning. So
Right.
I watched from about 2 to 6 a.m.
Right.
and then I stared my press by 9 a.m.
Let's go to our
So
next caller
actually,
here. Yeah?
the process that you went through for all these hours and hours and hours, and the snippet that you showed,
Just 1 minute.
on TV, on Netflix, what was your impression about the show itself?
I think the show is very artfully made. I will always give it credit for bringing Indian matchmaking to a public place and
think so.
having people have these great conversations about our culture and about colorism and casteism and sexism. I mean, these conversations should go on way after the show fizzles out, and that's important.
You know, the security lady downstairs, she's an African-American lady, and I said, I'm going to be interviewing Aparna from Netflix. She said, I know about her. The lady who's
that's
downstairs.
amazing.
I'm like, how do you
amazing.
know? She said, all my friends talk about it, but I haven't seen her yet. Introduce me. Then we
Yes.
had to come in very quickly. So
On our
we
way
came
out,
up.
we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let's talk to our next caller. Go ahead, please. Be brief because we have lots and lots of callers. Yeah, go ahead, please. Quickly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that guy who is doing a face reading? And
Yeah.
what are your thoughts living in America? And whether
Thank you.
believe it in or
Yeah, just hang up and listen to her. Facebook face reading guy.
right.
I don't really believe in that, and I think he was very, he was adding a little masala to the show, and I think that's all it is.
Right. Let's go to our next caller here. And you said it so well about 15 minutes ago that it was more of a natak that they did.
Yes.
Let's go to our next caller. You're live on Open Forum. Please be brief. Go ahead.
Hi, Subodh. This is Vinod.
Oh, yeah. Vinod bhai, kem cho tame?
How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, Aparna. I saw all the series. You did a fabulous job. And I have a few quick comments. Okay, I know you all have other people calling in. First, I don't think you were arrogant. I think you were firm. You knew exactly what you wanted. So if people think that is arrogance, that's their problem, not yours. Okay. Secondly, I think this lady, Meena, who
Seema.
ran the show,
Seema.
she made the show all about herself.
Exactly. That's the feeling I got.
You know, the way I looked at it, she was not listening to any of her clients. I call you all clients. She did what she wanted to do. Now, for example, that guy in New York who stood up, never showed up for one of his
Yeah.
lunches or dinners.
Right.
If I was running the show, I would have kicked that guy out. But she made him come on a second date, and he again didn't show up,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Out of that, she made a big drama and big publicity out of it, okay?
Yeah.
So the show was about herself. Last comment. This guy sitting in Bombay, looking at a picture and saying blah, 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 I think that guy was planted by her.
You
She
mean,
told him everything about a person, and this guy was just looking at a picture and saying,
yeah, the face
"But
reader.
so and
The face
so,
reader,
this guy
yeah.
so
Right.
and so."
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So I don't believe that guy. I think that was implanted.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
Could be, could
But
be.
you did a great job, Aparna.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Fantastic.
All the best.
And Dr. Busha, they are actually looking for a retired oncologist to be on one of the shows also. Sir, are you available? Can we sign you up?
Even
having good
the guy from
Yes, sir.
Bombay, the Pradyuman guy,
Thank you
know,
for calling.
even, I mean, he was boasting that, I rejected 120 girls, you know.
Yeah.
Somehow that, I don't know, it was not very appealing.
I don't know. I know Pradyuman now. I talked to him on the phone last week for like a few hours. And
Right.
It's interesting, it's in India, they're given those bio datas and the way that we would be given a dating app. And I say
Right.
no to people on a dating app without meeting them. And Pradyuman was saying no to their piece of paper just because maybe there was something he didn't like
Right.
about it. I think he's being very careful about who he wants to meet because he knows that taking that next step of meeting someone is saying, hey, I'm
Yeah.
really maybe committed to this. So
Right.
he wants to make sure that he's giving the right impression to meeting the right girls.
I think he was pretty blunt with that one
Right.
simple girl that who I thought was a pretty sweet little girl.
The artist.
The artist. And she kept saying, come to Jabalpur or I don't know, where somewhere.
yeah.
Like on the 27th, he said, there's no way I'm.
There's no way.
He just said it. I'm not coming out
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. And yet, I don't know. Seema probably liked that, and that's why they put it out there.
Maybe.
Because they had to
Right.
show it. Hey, Vinod, thank you very much. We're going to go to our next caller here. How are you, sir? And welcome to Open Forum. Hello. Hello. Ghulam Ali Hassan.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
This is actually Shreya. How are you? So great to be on the show.
Shreya,
Wow.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Why are you taking your someone else's telephone because it shows up as Ghulam Ali Hassan?
Yeah, that's my husband.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, that makes sense.
Okay.
now. Okay, tell us what. Ask her a question. Come on. I've been very soft with her.
Okay, so me, all of our cousins, I'm a lawyer. All of our friends are educated. We were watching, and I was curious because Aparna, you just said Pradyuman was very careful in his selection after looking at 100 biodata. But yet when you said no to a bunch of people, you were marked as picky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you see a generational difference in the response?
No, I think a lot of people are supporting the fact that I was not given a choice, and that was, obviously a sexist, kind of misogynistic. I mean, that was just, both of those things, and that's come to light in the way that Seema operates as a matchmaker. But again, it's about Seema. It's not about Pradyuman, and it's not about me. It's the way that Seema operates her business and her viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that we should be, judging either Pradyuman or I based on the matches that she gave us. Because that was in her methodology, and it didn't have anything to do with us. When I saw that Nadia got 3 men laid on her dining room table and got to pick which one she met first and second and third, and then I only got to meet one because apparently I was stubborn, and I didn't deserve a choice, I was hurt by that because, I'm also educated and I would love to have a choice in the person I get to meet. I mean, my time is valuable, and I certainly would not have maybe picked Srini as my first match. Like I said, I'm very good friends with the other men. I do get along with them, and had their biodatas come up first, I would have preferred to meet
one
them.
of them first. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, ma'am. Anything else? A follow up on that? Hello.
No, I think she's gone.
I think she's so happy with that answer.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for calling, Shreya.
You bet, Shreya. Thank you for calling, folks. We've opened some lines out here. It's 1-800-444-1061, 1-800-444-1061. Do you think there's going to be a second season of this thing?
The production company and Smriti Mundra really wants it. Netflix has not confirmed it. I think one of the most common questions I also get is, how can I apply for season 2?
Right.
I don't know, because there is no season 2 right now. But there will be, I think.
Yeah, stand in the airport, wait for your,
wait
let
for
it
your
show
flight.
up on your...
let it show up on your Facebook.
You have a lot of family.
Yes.
How did your family think about this whole process? Your uncle, I know him so well. Jyotika, your mom, I know her well.
Yes.
How did they, come up with this whole, why are you doing this, Aparna? Or did they say, Aparna, this is awesome, go for it, man?
They said it was awesome. I mean, it was supposed to be a docuseries about our culture. Why would you not be proud of that or want to be a part of that? I think sharing my South Asian culture with the whole world is an amazing thing. And I thought that's what I was doing by putting myself out there, putting my heart on the line, getting involved in matchmaking on a camera. I wanted people to see that those notions of forced marriage is not what arranged marriage is at all. Arranged marriage is a fingerprint, and everybody's definition of it is different based on their fingerprint. So mine is based on my culture, being South Asian. It's based on living in Houston, Texas, and having diverse friend groups and growing up in the public school system. It's based on my own opinions of myself, like how much of a voice do I want to have in the process of picking my own spouse. So if you apply those factors to Pradyuman or Akshay or Ankita or Nadia, we all have our own definitions of arranged marriage, and I think that's what the show was trying to show you. I'm not sure that's what everybody got from it, but it's interesting. A lot of Europeans and even Americans are writing me and saying, oh, it was so nice to see that you guys weren't forced into marrying someone. And I said, that's not what arranged marriage is. It's not forced
of course,
marriage.
Right. Very true.
But it used to be. I would imagine hundreds of years ago, there were no... and I'm talking of long ago.
Long ago.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
In that culture
But
at
even
that
our
time.
parents' generation, my parents' generation, they got to sometimes, most of the time, meet multiple people and say, this one is the right fit for me, even if it was an arranged marriage.
Right.
So,
Even Seema got married when she was 19 years old, and they didn't even
And
see
I think that
her husband,
I think that got imprinted
Right, exactly.
in her brain, and that's the
But
way
that's not what India is today, though.
It's not what it is today, but what I'm saying is it was that way, right?
But 34 years ago,
I mean, remember that young girl, she said, let's live in an apartment like Friends, doing the TV show Friends.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw the lady in Delhi or somewhere. She was talking.
Ankita. She's my good friend.
That's Ankita. Okay.
Yeah.
Ankita's friend said, let's all just live like friends.
Yes.
This is something new out here. Hey, you're listening to Open Forum. Let's go to our caller out here. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Am I online?
You are
Yes, you are
totally
online,
online, and
yeah.
there are about 50,000 people listening to you, so be nice. You're laughing now.
Hey guys, my name is Sanjay, and I and my wife both are on the speakerphone speaking to you guys.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hey, Aparna, first of all, we really enjoyed watching you on this show,
thank you.
and I guess the way it was made out that you were one of those stubborn ones, which I guess one of the callers said that. But I there are two things which I wanted to ask. There were two things. One, how was this selection process, how did they come to you, for the show? Was it something which you had to apply for? Or was it someone who came to you and said that, look here, this lady Seema is looking for you?
I told you everybody doesn't tune at 4 o'clock.
Right.
So this gentleman, Mr. Sanjay, tuned in later.
Yeah.
So let's give it again because there may be more. That's okay. That's okay, Sanjay.
That's okay, Sanjay.
And there may be more Sanjays who tuned in later.
Sure,
How did he get selected to do this?
So I was about to board a plane, and I was on Facebook. I saw the application put up by a friend who said, "Oh, hey, are you single? Are you South Asian? Do you want to get married?" I applied right there. Didn't think anything of it. 1 week later, they called me and they said, "Hey, let's do an interview, a casting interview." And that's how the whole process kicked off.
Yeah, once I tried that, I was at the airport, I was on Facebook, and someone said, "Hey, do you want a Mercedes?" I applied. I'm still looking for
Still looking. You're still waiting.
We're still waiting for that Mercedes to come.
But you remembered that you applied.
I applied.
I did not apply.
What do you think about that, Sanjay? What have you been applying for, my friend, at the airport?
I know.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I mean, I travel 120 days a year. I don't apply.
You have plenty of time to.
Man.
And I get an upgrade. Buying a cheap ticket, I get an upgrade. That's what I want.
That is so smart. And talking about travel, I want to ask Aparna. Aparna, by the way, is not just a great person and an attorney. She has other hobbies.
She travels
and
a lot.
other things that she's done. Some of the clothes that I wear, Aparna, you want to tell that story?
I used to style people as my hobby, and then last year I started my own travel company, so the styling stopped. But I'm always doing something on the side that feeds my creativity. A lot of people are like, "Oh, why don't you you said you didn't like being a lawyer. Why do you keep being a lawyer?" And I'm like, do we all have to love our jobs? Like, I went to 3 years of law school. I invested in this career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep it. I don't not like it most days, but I also spend time on doing the things I love, and that's spending time with my friends and family, and that's starting businesses. And so right now,
You're a Cindy.
I'm
Right.
a Cindy.
You're a Cindy.
And my hobbies include starting new businesses.
Yeah,
Absolutely, right.
And I met Jay on the show, and Jay and I.
What a,
Oh,
Go ahead.
What a coincidence.
sorry, but what a coincidence. We are Kachhi, so a lot of words are common.
Yes,
Not-
a lot
Wow,
of words.
absolutely.
A lot of words, yes.
Hey, Sanjay, you had other questions, or your wife wanted to ask something.
The wife is with me. She's listening because I told her something 2 weeks back. I had gone for a haircut to Galleria.
Uh-huh.
I go to visual changes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the lady who cuts my hair was asking me, "Have you seen this show called Netflix and the Matchmaking of India?"
Wow.
And I said, "Yes, I did."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You know what? She's been my client." I said, "No, don't give me that bullshit. I don't know. I wanted to check with you, Aparna. Is the lady called Navi cuts your hair?
No.
If yes, it's fine. Then otherwise, she was bullshitting me."
Whoa. The FAA doesn't let us say all those words out on this. So is it FCC? What is it?
No, I do
think
not.
She was taking a fast one on me.
Yeah, she
she
definitely
was.
was. I have
She
not.
was.
I only get my hair cut by one person, and that's not it.
That's not the person.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The other,
Now, that shows how popular you've become, Aparna. Congratulations.
she has.
Thank you.
Like I said, I don't know.
Wow.
Sanjay, you tune in late. Even the security downstairs, 11 floors down.
That I heard.
You heard that. Okay.
I heard that.
You tuned in on time then. Aparna, let me ask you a question. How many hours do you actually sleep? I mean, you do this, you do that, you do these, you do those, you do everything. How many
Yeah.
hours do you actually sleep?
For the past 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 3 hours a night.
A night.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm working on a book proposal too. I have a literary agent. So,
Nice.
I'm
Oh,
working
yeah,
hard
interesting.
on that.
Very
Very
interesting. Wow.
So I'm working on my book, and I'm working on my full-time law job, and I'm working on my travel business.
Right.
And
And
I do
I'm sure
press from 6 a.m. to
The
midnight.
book is related to your experiences with Netflix?
Yes, the book is, so fans of the show will love my book when
Yeah.
it comes out, but I'm working hard on that proposal right now.
That's fantastic.
So, barely any time to sleep.
Right.
So.
So tell us about your travel agency. What do you do? And is it like a very boutique type of stuff that you do?
Yeah.
Tell our listeners what you do. You know what? You take a group of 20, they'd love to come with you.
That's what I do.
There you go.
That's
Tell
what
us.
I do. So I curate.
I don't know. How do I get in touch with you, Aparna, for the travel?
There you go. There you go.
Exactly. Well, I have a company. It's called My Golden Balloon, and it has a website, mygoldenballoon.com.
Yeah.
And basically, what we did pre-COVID is that we curated trips for people to join us all over the world for about 8 days, because we think that's the magic number
Yeah.
that you can get away for work. And you basically, I'm the tour guide, and you buy a ticket, and I take care of everything. Your 5-star accommodations, all your tours, your fine dining. It's all luxury. It's all about cultural immersion and unique experiences, and it's all the things I would do for myself. So basically, I'm selfishly planning my own dream vacation and taking 14 to 16 people with me.
What are the countries, places that you visited so far with a group?
So the company started right before COVID, so we did one trip before it all got canceled.
I think Sunena went with you, right? Was that the one?
No, she came with me on a scouting trip to Ecuador.
That was, okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I got
so
you.
I go to the places before I ever take other people there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's
so
fair.
Sunena came with me to Ecuador.
Yeah.
But we took a
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, we took a full trip in February, right as COVID was hitting at the end of the month, to Jordan. So we did Petra and Amman, and it was beautiful. And then we had many other trips planned. They were fully booked, and we had to cancel them all.
What is your dream place?
My dream place to travel to right now would be Bolivia, which is which of course on the show has now become so famous. So people have been
flamingos.
The flamingos.
Is that what you're talking?
Yeah, the James flamingos in the Red Lake. They eat the algae there. I want to see them. But now someone sent me analytics, Google search terms. So July 16th, the show came out. Nobody was searching for Bolivian salt flats. After that, it hit the charts.
Oh my goodness!
All over the world, people are typing in Bolivia salt flats. So I'm afraid that when I finally go, it'll be crowded.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be this empty, beautiful place.
That's what you like. You like wilderness, and not wilderness, but you don't like the commercial.
Yeah, like unique places.
Because you did talk about Cuba. Tell us about Cuba. Yeah. How on earth? I've been trying so hard to find out, to figure out how can I get to Cuba? How can I go to those beaches? You snuck in. You want to reveal that, or is that illegal? I don't know.
I know. I did it so many years ago. It doesn't matter. I snuck in back before that they were letting Americans in. I went to Canada. And I asked them to not stamp my passport when I landed in Cuba. I said, "I'm American. Please don't stamp my passport." And they were like, "That's fine."
Yeah?
And so I
they didn't.
No.
Man, you convinced them too.
I think it's normal, but I made sure to tell them because I
Okay.
think sometimes by mistake they just keep
They do it.
stamping
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
And so I snuck in through Toronto. We couldn't use our credit cards or anything while we were there, so we had to have like wads of cash with us. Yeah.
Because of the same thing, they track you down.
Well,
trace
back
you down?
then when I went,
They don't
Americans couldn't be there, so we couldn't use our credit cards or anything there.
So you went before 2013 then?
I went in. Yeah, I went in 13, I think.
Okay.
Before Obama went there.
Before Obama, yes, yes.
Right.
I went right after Beyonce went because I didn't know what hotel to stay in, and my friend was like, "Beyonce stayed at this hotel." I was like, "I will stay."
I'm Aparna. I'm going to stay there.
So I asked them. I was like, "Can I have Beyonce's suite?" They were like, "No." So I got a regular room in the same hotel.
But you hardly. I mean, you just went there to sleep.
So
most of the time, you're outside.
Tell us your impression about Cuba and Havana.
You know, I thought it was actually really sad. So I was telling Shaker about it on our date, and people were like, "Why were you talking about the tourism there?" And I was like, "There's a lot of poverty in Cuba," and it was really sad to see that our American ban on them at that time had left them very poverty-stricken because they are so close to Florida. And if we had open tourism with them, they would be a flourishing community. They're beautiful people. They have beautiful nightlife and dancing and cigars and mojitos. It's a happy place to go.
Right.
But unfortunately, due to our politics with them, they are suffering a lot.
Mm-hmm, they are.
It's very sad.
Hey, Sanjay, thank you so much for listening, and just keep listening. And one day you might be on the tour. You know,
might be.
And I'll tell you, she's totally upgraded. Those tours are not cheap. I can tell you that. Did you hear what I said, Sanjay? Sir, did you hear what I said? Those are very upgraded tours, my friend.
Just last point, Aparna.
Yes.
I will definitely get into your website. I think I can give you a lot of inputs on my travel.
Very good.
I've been to Bolivia, I've been to Chile, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Argentina.
Perfect.
So my business takes me there. I'm from oil and gas. So you know, maybe we can chat some other time.
Absolutely.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to...
All right. Take care. All the best. Thank you for having me on the show.
Let's see if you can recognize this voice out here. Let's go to this person. Let me see if you can recognize the voice. Hello. How are you doing? This is Open Forum, and thank you for calling.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Sunena.
That is Sunena. Your ears must have been burning because we talked about you,
We
Sunena.
did. We talked about Ecuador.
I did. I said I have to call in.
Yeah. So what do you, Sunena, you actually asked me to see this, this program because I knew Aparna's in it. I didn't know the name of the actual program, and you said, hey, Aparna's in this one. So I went and saw it. So here's Sunena. What questions do you have for Aparna, if you have any?
Well, I don't have any questions about the show because I've talked her to death offline about the show, so I know all the background stories and everything. But I wanted to give a shameless plug for my golden balloon because I did go to Ecuador with Aparna last year, and it was a fantastic trip. It was absolutely like nothing I've ever seen before. She did an amazing job with planning. And true to Aparna style, we packed about 28 hours worth of stuff into a 24-hour day.
Yes,
Goodness.
always.
So it was a very busy trip, but we saw a lot, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, we were very lucky to do that together.
My question for you, Aparna, is how are you kind of shifting gears with your business in the midst of COVID?
Yeah.
As far as my golden balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So my golden balloon obviously can't run the tours like we said. And so as different countries around the world are opening up, we decided to start our own city guides. So they're $3. You can download them on our website. But it's basically a 2-page guide about where Aparna would love to travel and stay and explore and see in that one city. So let's say you're going to Amsterdam or New York or Barcelona, depending on your country that you live in and the rollbacks that you're doing on travel. This is an opportunity for me to still share the things I love about travel and specific places with people. So a lot of people in Europe are already traveling. They're already buying our guides.
Nice.
A lot of people in the U.S. who live in New York and around New York are buying our New York guide. So it's a way for me to still share my love of travel with people. That's $3 instead of thousands of dollars.
Right.
Because the trips are thousands.
You need to include Costa Rica in it because that's a
course.
very beautiful place.
Of course. Costa Rica is one of my favorites.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Well, here I'm waiting for the next trip. I'm just can't wait till we can travel again.
I know.
Fantastic.
Soon.
Thank you, Sunena, and you all be safe out wherever you are. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's go. I'm going to go to our next caller. Let's go to this person out here. Hello, you're live on Open Forum. Please go ahead. Hello, please go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Are you screaming? Are you screaming at us, or what's up with you?
No, I'm just so excited to talk to Aparna.
Go for it then. What's your name?
Go for it.
Sahar Abdullah.
Nice.
Wow.
Miss Abdul, what's your question for Aparna?
Well, so my dad, Jack, and I are both avid travelers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were wondering, one, we would love to go on a My Golden Balloon trip.
Thank
but
you.
also just, I get your point to a certain degree of you don't like relaxing. You can do that at home. You'd rather, travel and explore.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance the two? The previous caller was talking about how you guys jam-packed a 24-hour day into 28 hours of things.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the relaxing aspect of a trip with the exploring and sightseeing?
It's a great question. I mean, you work
it's a
so
really
many
great-
hours
Mm-hmm.
from Monday to Friday. How do you balance that out?
So while I'm traveling, how do I balance it? It's pretty easy. Sunena was saying that we were very busy, but definitely one of the 4 days we just took off and we all did our own thing. So she went on a hike that day. I went to the spa and did 2 back-to-back treatments and then
There you
took
go.
a nap. I ate chocolate chip cookies by the fireplace. It was cold in Ecuador. So it's not that I can't relax. It's just that for 10 days, when I do have 10 days off, I want to go somewhere new. I want to see something magical and wonderful. I usually don't get 10 days off. So I went to Egypt last year with a friend and we went from Wednesday to Monday because she's a surgeon and I'm a lawyer and our work schedules are crazy. So we were literally running through Egypt because I want to see it when I'm young. It was really sad when we were there watching these very elderly people with oxygen tanks trying to see the temples. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm so lucky that I'm 30 and I can run up these temple steps and I can explore the world like this.
Yeah.
And sure, I was tired when I went back to work on Tuesday morning after my 5 days in Egypt, but it was worth it and I would do it again.
5 days doesn't really do justice to Egypt.
I don't know. We
because-
did it all. We did Luxor, we did Cairo, we did hot air balloons.
Yeah, you probably ran all the way.
Yeah, sir. Because
But I can.
Because it's a beautiful
Look, hold
country,
on.
though.
You stuck your foot into this one. You walk at a total pace. These girls, a young girl.
No, I enjoy the place. I stay there.
I'm just kidding.
I just stay there. In Luxor, I literally stayed one night.
Let's go back to Ms. Abdullah. Do you have any other questions? Because I'm going to be asking the next few questions otherwise.
No, you can ask. Thanks, Aparna.
Keep listening. Folks, keep listening to Open Forum. Our number is 1-800-444-1061. So if in some of the research that's been done, they asked Americans, not all over the world, what fulfills your life?
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked when I read the actual result. Only 14 to 15% of women said that marriage would fulfill our life.
Mm-hmm.
about 45 to 50% said our jobs, our career
Really?
fulfills our life, and the other were just kind of in between somewhere there. What do you make of that?
I think that's really interesting. I don't know if
And
anyone.
the men, and by the way, the men were not too far away. So if the women were like 14 to 15%, the men were like 16%. They said, yeah.
I think that's in an individual preference. It's lovely to see that so many people feel that way about their careers, but I feel like that's also a very strange question because I think many components fulfill us and not just one. So it can be both your work and your marriage and your health and your travel and your, it can be any number of things. And I don't think a poll can capture all of that.
Right. That's true, but we live with
Fantastic.
polls
Right.
nowadays.
We do live
So
with-
we're just generalizing it. Obviously,
Yes.
an individual like you, for example,
Yeah.
you have a totally different idea than what a general poll would actually
course.
tell us. So yeah, you're
Right.
right. But I was shocked when I saw that.
I am too.
I
I
would
am too.
think
Right.
it's just a flip. People, or it would be like 40-40, but
Maybe 40-40.
15 and 45,
Right.
Yeah.
and then the other was miscellaneous. All right.
Well, in the culture that we live in, and of course living in the Western society, there's a lot of pressure, particularly on girls and on women that who are not married. Do you feel this kind of a pressure just because you are not married at this time?
No, and I actually feel like I never was grateful enough for that I've never experienced that. Like a lot of women are, as I said, thousands of people write me every day, and a lot of women feel that pressure very
Right.
acutely. And they ask me, like, what did I do to combat it in my life? And I said, I've never had to. Like, my family's always supported me. My friends have always been my biggest cheerleaders. Everyone has always said, do it on your own time and pick the person that's right for you.
Right.
And that might not be when you're 23. It might be when you're 34, and that's okay. And I didn't realize how lucky I was that I never had to face that. And I hear from so many women around the world that feel so pressured. And
Absolutely.
And it really hurts me to hear that they're in such a predicament. And some of them are very young too.
Right.
And I think that's hard for me to hear because I know I've been very lucky.
Yeah, it's somehow there is the mindset that when a girl becomes 22, or about 20, and before 30, that she has to get married. For whatever reason, it's still out there. People thinking, the families thinking about it, and it's so unfortunate.
Folks, you're listening to Open Forum. We have Aparna from India Matchmaking. Did I say it right?
Indian
Matchmaking
Matchmaking. Right,
on
Indian
Netflix. It's what time is it now? I need some pani, I think. I got enough water. Let's go to our next caller out here. Mr. Shantilal, sir, how are you doing today?
Namaste ji, I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
Wonderful, wonderful,
Yeah,
Shantila.
go ahead.
Hanji, I did see the whole serial of matchmaking and stuff like that. So basically, I have a comment. Obviously, Aparna did very good, and I'm really glad that she had so open-minded and really straight up decisions to make and stuff like that. But at one point of time, even in my wedding, we had a matchmaker. The difference was the matchmaker appeared to be knowing us and stuff like that, and on my wife and stuff like that. But that matchmaker did not have that as a profession. That matchmaker would take a pride in joining two families together. That was one of the things. That was the most valuable criteria those days.
Right. It still
It's
works.
different
It
now.
still works in India.
No, it doesn't work anymore because
Things have
now
changed,
there is
though.
less
They have
responsibility.
changed. Yeah.
The
Okay.
matchmaker do not want to be held responsible for if the wedding did not work out the way.
Okay.
you
Well,
would want. But it does
Shantila,
work. Yeah,
before I let Aparna make a comment on that, many decades ago, in villages, or maybe it's still happening.
Right.
The matchmaker used to be the barber. They used to call them the nai.
Right.
Because they're cutting this guy's hair and then they're cutting that guy's hair and someone else's, and they're kind of exchanging notes.
Right.
His daughter, his son.
Right.
That's how it used to be. And I'm just using nai
Yeah.
as one occupation.
Right.
There were other occupations that people were touching lives of,
Yeah. But
and
it,
that's how they used to match me.
even today, for that matter. For
And it worked,
example, if
apparently.
usually family gets involved when you don't find your own match, then the family gets involved, and and that it just so happens that family knows each other, and they say if this particular combination can work, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I still believe that the families do get involved if a girl and a boy are not able to find their own.
Do you believe?
I mean, in long story short, those matchmakers were kind of well-wishers for both the family.
That's true.
Right.
That is
That
true.
was
Right.
was the main criteria.
Yeah. Shantilal, thank you very much. We got lots of callers here, so I'd like to give everybody a chance. Sir, thank you. Call us a little later again when we go on some politics, etc. We've got about 10 minutes more. I think Aparna has...
She has to, right.
She gave us this time.
Yeah, she gave us
and
extra
it is
time.
Amazing. So let's go to some of our
Right.
callers here while we still have her here. Chatriwala Saab, how are you doing? It's not raining, so you're probably at home. There's no Chatriwala there.
Well, I think you have a lovely guest out there.
Yes.
You told me about it last week. I didn't get a chance to watch the program, but I read a lot of reviews, and I think I know as much as if I saw the whole program.
Right.
A couple of things that I read, and I understand that in India still matchmaking is not a very within the community like I knew when I was living there. You know, aunties and there was a lady who was doing matchmaking. That
Right.
was her job.
Right.
Within the community. And I found that in Houston also. There's a lot of, in our Muslim culture, there are some ladies
Professional
who
matchmakers?
do this matchmaking.
Are these professional matchmakers? Because Seema is a professional.
Yes.
I bet
Right.
she gets compensated for that,
No.
right?
She must, yes.
She does.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't ask for money openly, but in our community,
Indirectly, yeah.
But the friends
they
of friends
get
of friends, those try to bring two people together. That's how it works,
Yeah.
It's a very
My wife is one of them,
informal group of
Your wife
people.
is a matchmaker.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But they're
Well,
really
she
not
goes to the mosque
matchmakers
and
as such.
they say, okay, can you find a girl for my boy or something?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
ask her, and then she starts matching. But anyway, the gist of the whole thing, I think it was one thing. It was a good program that what I read about it. I promise I'll go back and watch the net. I'm not much of a TV program watcher.
Right. So, we've got about 10 more minutes with Aparna. We just want to, I'm trying to get into her brain a little bit more, if you don't mind. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah.
Ask
but
some
a
question?
couple of points that I gathered.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, go ahead.
People were not, some of the people who came from India, or they still think that Indian culture is better.
Okay.
Miss Aparna, she's got many demands and many points and all that. So I'm sure she has read that. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
Oh yes.
So, no,
We
what do you
talked
mean?
about it.
What did you mean by the traditional culture or the Indian culture is better? Are you talking about the traditional marriages versus you choose your own spouse marriages?
No, I chose my own too.
Yeah. She probably chose you. Knowing you, she probably must have you had no say in that.
I'm married to a Hispanic lady, and she's very lucky she found an Indian. So.
Whoa.
Wow, look at
Really?
that.
Okay. All right, dude. Okay.
I won't give you her phone number. So
No.
Don't worry about
it. So do you have a question for her? Do you have a question
bilkul.
for her, sir?
I just want to, thank you for,
Okay.
I want to thank her for coming on this radio.
You bet.
Hey, all right. Hey, listen, Chatriwala, thanks for listening us and our diehard supporter. But listen, we need to go to some other callers.
Yeah, we're going to take a little break
Right.
out here. I'm going to ask you, Aparna, now that the show is over, right? Are you still single?
Yes, I am. We all are.
I like the way you said, yes, I am.
Everyone is. So I talked to
all of them, yeah.
All of us are
So,
single.
Yeah.
So Akshay,
Except one guy was going to get married to that girl from Udaipur.
he broke it off the next morning.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
the next
Wait.
morning.
He said yes and
He had
then
the roca, and then he broke it off.
he
the
had a
next morning.
roca.
Yeah.
And it was a nice looking roca out
Right.
there.
Yeah, it was
The-
beautiful.
I'm like, the gold was here and the diamonds were there and these
Yes.
kids were there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is an awesome roca.
Yeah. He
Then
broke
what-
it up. He wasn't ready to get married, and he said that over and
Yeah.
over again, and they didn't listen to him, and so
I didn't like that guy.
What-
He was
I
too
loved
quiet.
him.
No,
I loved
he
him.
must have been a nice guy, but the way his
Portrayal.
Yeah, the portrayal was.
it wasn't fair to
he
him.
was.
If you think about it.
He's a mummy's boy.
No.
That's what he was.
No,
Natasha, you're so right.
no. I'm going to
She
defend
made-
Akshay.
Hold
I'm
on.
no.
Before you defend,
Okay.
let me just put my. I know you're a lawyer. I'm just a doctor,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm just what are we? Nothing.
Okay,
doctor.
okay. You talk
My
Akshay.
thing was the guy did not get a chance to speak. His mom would always butt in
Right.
and say, "This is my baby," this blah blah, and the guy had no eye contact. He would look down, then
Right.
he'd look. Not only him, his poor dad had the same damn problem.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
wouldn't let him
She
talk.
was.
It was a
No.
mom.
She was the one who was
Natasha's
literally.
right. Okay, well,
what
how do you
about Pradyuman? Did he get?
No,
get
let
going?
her
No,
defend.
Let me defend Akshay.
She's
so,
a
like I
def-
said, there was hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage, and the face expressions that you're seeing are never
Yeah, they
connected.
cut. Okay.
But they're never
All right.
connected to what the person is saying. And Akshay, if you think about it, and I say this to everyone, I said this to Film Companion, I said this to Grazia, I've said this
Right.
to everyone. Akshay is the strongest one out of all of us.
Yeah.
Really?
He has this family and the society pressure that none of us had.
Right.
He was 23 when he came home from Boston. He needed to get married by 25, according to his mother.
Right.
She would throw him, all these biodatas. His brother was telling him to get married. His whole family was telling him to get married. Everyone was doing it. And he said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. He has nerves of steel to turn. I mean, look at that. He's looking at these people. His mom said, your brother can't have a baby until you
Right.
get married. And
That
he-
was ridiculous.
Right, that was
And he
ridiculous.
said, I don't care.
I don't
I'm
care."
not ready.
Yeah.
And
He
that
said
is a
that.
man who is very strong and certain about who he is, how mature he is, what he wants in his future partner. They pushed him into that roca. He woke up the next day and said, no. None of us were as strong as Akshay.
Oh my.
Akshay is strong.
Whoa.
Akshay is
surprising.
strong.
Yeah.
Akshay's strong.
I thought his mom must have got really mad at him.
No?
And what about the other guy who's a chef and he
Pradhuman.
Yeah, Pradhuman.
He's a jeweler who
He-
cooks
Right,
in his
jeweler.
spare
Right,
time.
right.
He's
He was going steady with the Delhi girl, right? The last
the
one?
model.
Yeah.
I think they didn't work out because of
They
distance.
just- yeah.
She's much younger than him. I think she's like 6-7 years younger than him, and she was into modeling and was busy. But he was also very creative and very
Very creative,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a jeweler. He makes drinks. He mixes beautiful
Right.
foods. I mean, like,
beautiful food.
Yeah.
Right.
So if Netflix tells all of y'all, hey, y'all all need to hang around. We're gonna give. So y'all was 7, I think 7 or 8,
Seven of us.
right? 7 of
7.
y'all. If they say, hey, listen, we're gonna pay first class tickets for only 3 friends that you could meet out of the 7, who 3 would you pick?
oh, so it can't be any of the people I went on dates with.
No, no. I mean, no. It's open. You can choose anyone. You got only 6 more people there. So
Well, I love Shaker, Dilip, and Jay, my dates.
Okay.
I would see them. But
They
if I
were
had
good.
to pick from the primaries, I
Yeah.
would love to meet with Ankita. I'm really good friends with her.
Yeah.
I
Is she
would-
the designer?
She's the denim designer in
Yes.
Delhi.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I talk
yeah.
to her every day also.
She was pretty cool.
She's super
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
She's super cool. And then I would love to meet Vyasar in Austin.
Yeah.
I say that all
Oh,
the
he
time.
was a funny
wow,
guy.
he was a very funny
And
guy, though.
He had a
right.
sad story behind
Right.
him, right?
Yeah,
he
but
did,
he's a strong character as
Yeah.
well. And I would love to, of course, meet Nadia. Sure, she's
Right.
in New Jersey. We're similar ages. I think we would have a lot to talk about.
Right.
We also do talk to each other.
Our wedding
Yesterday-
planner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's the wedding planner.
So
yeah.
last night, all of us got together on a Zoom chat, and for the first time, we all just hung out together on Friday night.
That's
Everybody
awesome.
from the show that was a part of it.
What kind of Chardonnay did y'all drink then?
We were all drinking our own drinks. we were all drinking. It was a
That's
Friday
what I
night.
love about all of y'all.
Yeah.
Was any teetotaler in this of the 7 of? No, there was one guy, the West Indian. The
Guru
was. Yeah.
said he wanted orange juice.
So what's the secret? What's the secret about that guy who dropped out? He just didn't show up at all.
That's not true.
That was
I mean,
so.
that's editing.
It was made up.
Yeah.
It was made up.
He
It
talks
is-
about it a lot. He
Right.
has his own page. He's
Right.
very open with the media about it. It was all about editing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the truth either, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am just a viewer to those stories as
Right.
well. But I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
That did
Because
not happen.
Nadia was crying, as a matter of fact, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Well,
I
that's a lot of it
Yeah.
is natak also. I think I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
We don't know, and we don't
My
want to
belief
speculate.
is that that did not happen the way that they said it happened.
We're not speculating.
Yeah.
You know why we're not speculating? We want that second season to be there.
But I don't think any of us will be in it.
Okay, so that's
Won't it be other people, new people?
and that is kind of annoying because these stories that really they were built up so beautifully,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were just dropped like a hot potato.
But that's dating, right?
That
They
is
only followed
dating.
us from April to December of 2019. So if during April to December of 2019 we didn't find someone, to you as the viewer, it looks like we just got dropped. But
Yeah.
it's just that in life, we don't always find people in the windows that they're taping.
Right.
Right.
And so all of us are still single.
Right.
And we were laughing about that last night. We were like, this is the craziest group of people who all wanted to find love.
Yeah.
Went on this show as season 1. You know, the season 1 of every show is quite interesting because
Yes.
the people who are signing up don't have any idea. What's happening.
The second-
Now, everybody who's signing up for season 2 wants to get famous or be on a reality show, or I don't even know if they would be there for love. I hope that they would be. But we were all so naive. We went on this show thinking we were going to walk away with our weddings.
But you guys were all awesome. Let me just say that.
We love each other. We
I
are.
got on, when I posted this on Facebook, some people, you may have seen the string, some people wanted to ask, what advice, and these girls may be in their 20s,
Sure.
what advice do you have for these 20-year-old females who are still single
Yeah.
and some of them are looking and some are not even looking? Is there an advice or there
course.
isn't? Yeah, what's the advice?
There's lots of advice, but I would always say, make a list of what you really want and ask for it, and then believe that you deserve it. I think a lot of women don't realize that they have to feel worthy of these things before that they throw them out there in the world. I asked Seema for someone who was more introverted, laid back, and someone who was very, very intelligent. That was my true criteria that I gave her. Now, they added all the other stuff in the show. But for me, that didn't involve height or color of their skin or how good looking they were or anything. I, in my 30s, have made a list that's compatible to me, and I really want those things. I really want someone who's more laid back and chill and very, very smart. And that hasn't changed. And I want these women to really think about what they really want and the reasons they really want it. Like, is it compatible for their life? And then believe that they deserve it and wait for it. Wait for it. There's no timeline. You're not going to fall off a cliff if you turn 30 years old and never get married. You can turn 31 or even 34 and still be looking, and that doesn't make you any less worthy of asking for what you want. So when a Seema auntie in your life, even if it's not actually Seema auntie, comes up and says, no, just settle, beta, just compromise. Don't worry about it. Don't think so hard. Think hard. This is the biggest choice of your life. This is your life partner.
And Subodh, that was Seema's point, you know, that in every marriage, everyone has to compromise.
Right.
And that is
that's
how
her belief.
That's her belief.
But that's a different generation.
But that's a different generation, you know.
And we saw that this generation is not going to compromise.
Absolutely. Very true. Right.
They just want to do what they
want. Eventually everybody compromises, you know, when they get married. But particularly, for example, in her case, you know, when you have such a strong belief that you want certain kind of people that you want to spend your entire life you know, it's totally different to compromise at this stage, you know, rather than getting married and then, you know, finding out that, okay, let's compromise here and compromise there.
One of the statements that Aparna made, it really rang loudly.
I know which one you're going to say.
Yeah, you said...
Your family.
Yes. You said you cannot choose your dad or mom.
No.
You cannot choose your kids. They're born to you. But the only person you can choose is your...
family.
Your spouse.
The only family that you can choose is
your spouse.
And they are your
and
family.
that is so... And that kind of like, wait a minute, that is so true. That is so... And to extrapolate on that statement, I always say this to a lot of my patients and my friends. Look, the longest that you're going to actually live your life with is your spouse.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a dad. It's
true.
not going to be a mom. Your kids will be coming and then they'll be gone to college.
Exactly.
But your spouse, if you're lucky enough to live for a long time with the spouse, is the person that you're always going to be living with.
Always.
Till he or she departs from this
Absolutely.
world. And isn't that something crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're born to a family, to parents, and boom, you're gone from there, 18, 19, 20, 25, whatever years. And then here you are. You saw on that show so many couples, they're married for 50 years.
I know.
Right.
45 years. That is, Jagat has been married for 50 years.
Oh, no, not quite, but pretty close to.
I always get Jagat. Then my third partner is not here.
Yeah.
I think he got scared. He's like, I'm not
He's
coming
like, I'm not doing the show.
I'm not coming with Subodh today. Well, this has been amazing.
Yes, thank you.
As I know you're an amazing person, but today our listeners on Open Forum, the viewers on Facebook, they have realized who Aparna really is. What is Netflix? It's a reality show. It's a docu.
And it's a good
whatever.
one.
It's a good one.
Absolutely.
Well, it has like thrown you right there into the limelight, which you didn't need that, but you got thrown into that.
Sure.
And you're enjoying it, aren't you?
I
Are
think
you
so.
enjoying the limelight out there?
I think I will one day. Right now, I'm just tired.
You are enjoying the limelight.
But I don't go out
Be
much.
honest.
I don't go
You-
out.
I know you
at
don't,
all
but
'cause
still.
of COVID and stuff like that.
No,
But Aparna, you may not know it, but the whole town is talking about you.
No, that's very sweet. But I'm just, every day I'm just trying to get through the press and the work that I actually have to do for my job. And my travel business is growing quite quickly, and we're trying to plan for our future. And
Fantastic.
I just don't have time to think about things like that. Like I went to Costco the other day and someone like stopped me and was like, "It's you!"
Yeah.
And I had no idea what she's talking about because I
Yeah.
barely leave the house to even go to the grocery store. And I was
Right.
like, "What?" And she's like, "I was wearing one of my T-shirts
Oh,
though,
yeah.
because now I have these T-shirts, and it said 'Be like Aparna,' and she
Yeah.
was like, "You were wearing a T-shirt with your name on
Yeah.
it," and I was like, "Oh, that wasn't very smart. I should not be confused that you knew who I was."
Let's go to our next caller here. I don't think we have too many more left, so let's
Sure.
go to maybe a last or second last caller.
Sure.
Go ahead, please. You're live on Open Forum. Hello, Krishnamurthy. You're live
Hi.
on. Yeah, how are you doing?
Oh, wow. Look at
Hi,
that.
Jagat, this is Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy.
Yes,
I heard
we
that-
are here. We are here. You're talking to Subodh, Jagat, and you are also talking to Aparna here.
Aparna is the Netflix
Aparna.
star on
Yeah,
India Matchmaking.
Indian matchmaking. She is a star of Indian
So you
matchmaking.
have now you have a congressman also following you on
Wonderful.
this. I love that. I love that. So, Congressman, just hold on for a few minutes as we are, going to let Aparna leave because she's been with us for 90 minutes and she's been just awesome. Aparna, as you know, is in my books, she's the star of that show. I love that show. And I kept seeing it because of you, Aparna. I didn't know the other people. I know you.
Yes.
I know who you really are. And what they depicted on the screen is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not a little bit, quite
It's
a little.
fun, yeah.
It's fun, though.
It's
We
fun,
know
whatever.
it's a show.
Yeah.
It's got great ratings.
It does.
Number 1 in India, number 3 to 7 in
Yes.
United States. I don't know if they take a world ranking. You must be
I
pretty
think
high.
we hit 4 or 5 or something.
4 or
like
5
that.
in the world.
Right.
And this is
How
part-
about in England? I mean,
It's high there.
It's
South
high there?
Africa, it's really big, obviously.
Okay.
Big
Yeah,
big
yeah.
Indian communities are
Right.
supporting this, but so is everyone else.
So
it's
was-
amazing.
I'm telling you, the security guard downstairs,
Yes.
the African American lady who's
Yes.
in her 20s, she's like, Aparna, I've heard of her, but I've never seen the show. So,
Yes.
and my own employees, none of them are Indian, but they've seen the show,
Yes.
and that's amazing. And they know you're on.
Yes.
So they're like, hey, did you get an autograph? I'm like, nah, we'll just take a picture with her later on.
Actually, there is an English
Yesterday-
woman. There is an English woman living in Delhi
Ah.
who has written a book about arranged marriages.
Right.
And she believes at this time, or a few years back, that I would rather prefer an arranged marriage
Right.
than finding my own match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
Well, we're
Yeah.
going to give Aparna the last voice out here before we just check out for a little while and get Congressman Krishnamurthy out here. First of all, thank you on behalf of the entire crew out here. Rehan Siddiqui, who's the owner of the station, he's right behind you. He came in and I want him to come back here so he can meet you.
Sure.
Darshak from
Right.
Krishna Sounds. Darshak, you've done a great job as
you.
usual.
Thank you.
Natasha, also from 106.1 FM. She has her own show. She's a great RJ. And then, of course, we have Jagat Kamdar, my co-host for many, many years.
20 years.
20 years. And my name is Subodh. So here's, Rehan Bhai, you have any question. I want you to ask some question that's just in your mind. You want to bring it out there, man.
Keep up the attitude.
Keep up the
Thank
attitude.
you.
Everybody
Everybody
loves.
loves
That's Rehan Bhai. Well, last parting words from you, advice to these youngsters, to their moms, more than the youngsters, to the moms. What should the moms and dads,
Yeah.
sometimes the dads are like, they take a back seat out there, but the moms are right in front. They're running, right?
Right.
What advice do you have for these mothers who are looking for their daughters to get married?
Yeah, trust your kids. Trust their judgment and what they're looking for in their life. Listen to them. Really listen to what they want and try to, help them figure out what's right for them. And then everybody will be happy with the match that they find because in the end, that's what's most important. Like I said, we are picking our family members when we are picking our life partners. And that's the most important thing we have to think about. There's no timeline on it. There's no milestone age that we have to reach. We just have to do what's right for ourselves.
Best. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much, Aparna. Thousands and thousands of people you've inspired on the show. And I bet so many thousands who are listening to you today they've been waiting for this day. By the way, I've been telling everyone I have a fantastic show on 15th of August, the Independence Day of India.
Yes.
And they're like, really? What, are you going to talk politics? I said, no, it's way beyond politics.
Indian matchmaking.
It is Indian matchmaking. Ladies and gentlemen,
most
Aparna from Indian Matchmaking. We're going to go off the screen in a few seconds, and we're going to take a little break and come back with Congressman